Hey, my name is Courtney Jenkins, and I am with All in Wonder at SpecialNeedsMinistryResources.com. I want to talk to you about visual schedules and how they can be a tool to help you better reach individuals with special needs and support them in your church environment. So first of all, what are visual schedules and why are they important? Visual schedules are giving a person an idea of what to expect is going to come next. So you may walk into church and know exactly the order of things, but there are kids and individuals who don't necessarily automatically know what's coming next, when they get to go home, things like that. And giving them a tool to be able to understand that will really help them be able to function better in the classroom, transition to new activities easier, and just give them a better sense of awareness of what's happening. So let's think about this. Imagine that you were going to a conference and you got there and they did not give you any information about what was happening. You just walked into a big room and someone started talking. They told you, all right, we're going to do breakout sessions, but you don't know how long the breakout sessions are. You don't know where to go. You haven't been given the information that you need. How would you feel? You would probably feel lost, confused, maybe frustrated, angry. And so when we give a child or an adult a visual schedule, we're helping them reduce those same feelings. If they are coming into a church environment and they don't know what to expect and they don't know what comes next, then they're probably feeling a lot of the same emotions that you would be feeling if you walked into that situation with no schedule at all. So we want to avoid that. We want to help make it easier for them. So there are 3 specific types of visual schedules, and those are object schedules, picture or symbol schedules, and written schedules. So we're going to talk about those 3 and how to choose which one is best for the particular student or classroom that you're creating the schedule for. The first is an object schedule, and this is for learners who need a more concrete representation of what's happening and what's coming next. So you would use actual objects. So let's take, for example, it's going to be time for a Bible story. You're going to use a Bible story book, and you're going to use that as a representation of this is what we're doing now, and then you can show. Then you're going to get to play with cars later. You could have several different objects lined up on a bookshelf or something like that to show this comes first and then this. Or you could even use something like toilet paper. Probably not what you would imagine in a visual schedule video, but if you are having some kids play with some toys and then you're going to have to transition to go to the bathroom and then do large group, you can have a toy showing, okay, it's playtime, but then we're going to go to the bathroom and then we're going to go do our Bible story. And that's showing them in a concrete way what comes next. Another really great thing for individuals who need an object schedule is actually giving them the object and having them take it to the location where this activity is being done. And that helps them just make that transition to the next activity. The second one is a symbol or a picture schedule. This is probably what you're most familiar with. We have these in the shop that have the schedule cards and the schedule boards. We have several different ways of doing this and several different card types. So if your student needs something pretty simple, whoop, that's upside down, where they just have 2 options, you've got first then boards, where we're just looking at first. You put this on here. First, we're going to do our Bible story, and then you can take a break so they know what's coming next. And then once you're finished with break, you can fill this out again with your next set of activities. If they can handle a larger schedule, you've got an option of first, next, then. And you've got this that has 4 different slots on it. And then we also have some that have 8 slots in it. So it's just all according to if the individual that you're working with can look at all of it at one time, or if they need it broken down, if they're going to get distracted by the other parts. One thing that's very helpful is if you finish an activity, actually physically taking off that Velcro piece and placing it in like a little finished pocket or a little bowl with like a finish sign or something like that, so that they know that's all done. This is what I'm focused on now. In my classroom, I always used just like a little bowl that I got at the dollar store, and it had a finished symbol on the outside, and that's where we would put it. Another option is taking it physically to the location, just like I talked about with the object schedule. You can take the actual little card to the table that you're going to be doing a worksheet at, or whatever it may be. The third type of schedule is a simple written schedule. So some students are able to read, and this could work for them, just having it written out so they can reference the order of activities. So who do we use visual schedules with? Visual schedules were first used with individuals with autism, and so those are great resources to use, but we found that other students really benefit from this as well. So it's not something that you have to just use for one particular type of disability. The whole classroom can benefit from predictability. And so if you have a large visual schedule on the board, or you hold this up and you reference it with the whole class, and then go individually to the person who needs that extra support and let them see it one-on-one, that's helpful as well. So when you're thinking about which type of visual schedule am I going to use, how do I decide which one is best? One of the things that I learned in a training by the Teach Center of North Carolina was, when you're thinking about a child, think about at their most dysregulated. What are they going to most easily understand? So maybe they can read, but if they're super dysregulated, if they're on the verge of a meltdown, if they're in a meltdown, which one are they going to be able to look at and comprehend? So a lot of times that brings it to that visual symbol or picture schedule, but you may also need to consider, would it be better to do an object schedule? Another important part of using a visual schedule is making sure that you put a preferred activity on the schedule. So if you know that the student really enjoys going outside to play on the playground, make sure that you put the playground on there. If they have a certain toy that they want to play with, or if they really like Play-Doh or going to a sensory room, things like that, make sure that you're including that on the schedule so they see when it's coming, so they have the idea of, yes, I am going to get to do this thing that I really like to do when I'm here, but these are the steps that we're going to go through before I do that activity. And just remember that everyone benefits from predictability, and so utilize this. I hope that it's helpful. I hope it's helpful for your students, maybe for your child, maybe for your entire classroom with your children's ministry. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, and remember that in the shop we have our visual schedule cards, and we have our visual schedule boards for church use. We have one that's the visual schedule cards that's specific to children's ministry, and then we have a free resource that's available just specifically for a church service. So you have those two options available, and I'll link in the description below. Thanks so much.